So I want to talk about courage. The thought of at 22 buying a one-way ticket and going to China, someplace like China, can be scary for some people and stuff. Was that an easy decision for you to make? And where did you find the courage to do that?
Well, like I said, I knew I didn't want to live in America. So that courage had been with me since I was 17. And I tested the waters going to study abroad in Austria. I stayed with a host family in Salzburg for 2 months when I was 18. I turned 19 in Europe. That was cool. And then the year after that, I went to Israel for 2 weeks on a guided tour. So like, it wasn't like China was my first time leaving America. I think it would have been a lot harder. So I knew I needed to test myself. I needed to travel to a few countries, live outside of the country for a little bit of time, see what it was like.
So you traveled by yourself to these places?
The tour in Israel, I went with my brother.
Okay.
And it was guided. So they met us in New York and they took us on the planes together. So my hand was held pretty well. The one for Europe, I went with my university. However, because my plane left Miami late, I arrived in Spain late, which means I missed my flight to Germany. And therefore I missed the van that would take us to Salzburg. So I was actually on my own in Spain for 12 hours. And then I was on my own in Munich in the airport, and I had to find my own way to get to Salzburg. So at the age of 18, it was challenging and unique and really interesting because I made it. I was 12 hours late, but this was 2005. We didn't have smartphones, right? I had to find a payphone, and I had to call my mom in America on the payphone and wake her up and tell her to call the people at my university who weren't awake yet to tell them that I wasn't there. It was already a Sunday, so there was no way to really contact, and then they had to contact the leaders of the program in Austria to tell them that I missed it and that I was actually coming. So it was a tremendous amount of communication back and forth using payphones. Yeah. And then, just finding strangers who were willing to help. And yeah, it was freaking cool. But those experiences gave me a lot more confidence to move to China. But I also had literally no idea about China. I knew nothing about it. I didn't know, literally nothing, zero. I had no idea what I was getting into. And I found an agent who helped me to find a job being an English teacher. And they said, oh, Wuhan's a great city. It's up and coming. It's this and that. And it was none of what she said. But I learned to love it in its own way. Yeah. But yeah, I would totally do it again.